What is up, everybody? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. You are, of course, hanging out with the realest
OG in the building right now. And of course, I'm chilling with my main man,
Haron Mumuli. Pia hapa tuko papa hapa. Hatubanduki,
hatusongi. Tupo.
It's been
a minute. This one now it's been a minute. Hii ile tunasemanga hapa ati na tumetoka kurecord last weekend. This one has been a while. It's been a while by the way.
Yeah.
And I know for those people who've been following us very keenly, they've noticed that we actually took a break kidogo, but now we're back, like we never left.
Do you want to share what was the break about?
I think I don't know. I'll just share I'll just share from what I think. I think we just needed some time to just need to refresh kidogo, to just re-strategize, and just tukuja kama tumeweka gear tu vizuri sasa ndio this time round it's just kuchapa kazi kuna kusimama. So yeah
very good to hear. Sasa ametuongelea si wawili, unaona, that's exactly what but I think I'd say the exact same thing. Without strategy you might be moving in all directions. So ilikuwa ile kunoa kisu, so that when you're chopping
that is a very good example, or rather analogy, like unajua unafaa kuangusha hiyo mti in the next 6 hours, so you decide let me spend the first 5 hours just
kichonga kisu,
nikichonga kisu,
tukifanya tu
bas mti
ina slide kihatori hanzo. Yes. So welcome back. What have you been up to, mse? Hiyo time yote tumeenda tukistrategize.
I think first and foremost, especially with regards to the show, we've been planning a few shows. We have quite some very interesting by the topics to discuss in the next few weeks and months. So we've been looking at that. And we've also been trying to see how we can collaborate with some guys out there. The people who've actually reached out, they're like, hey, you guys are doing something really nice, see, you actually think of hosting some guys,
some other guys to get a different perspective.
Exactly.
Watu wamesema wamechoka na idea zetu. Come on guys, be serious.
Wamesema wanataka kuona ka spice kidogo hapa ndani,
ati chumvi na mechoka na chumvi kila siku kwa chakula.
Hapana.
Karoiko. Okay, very good to hear.
So that's I think part of it, especially with regards to the sport KE. What about you?
Same. It's all been strategies, just thinking about how better we can at least provide the content that we agreed we needed to provide.
Exactly.
And just hoping that drive ita grow to the same way it grew in us. Tuta grow na watu. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's been asking out, because I'm sure pia wewe mko kitafuta, and everyone should like, hey, I haven't seen your episodes in a while. For me, the trick has always been like, are you sure? Unajua inakaa ni kama watch, but of course, if you now check our history, it's like we haven't posted for quite a bit. So taking this time to also welcome you back. Na hizo mambo za strategy.
Welcome back as well.
Thank you. But yes, that has been a quick catch up of where we've been. So msishtuke sana. We are here, as we already said, we're here to stay. Msidhani mtatufukuza. We're just hoping that you'll also enjoy the ride with us as we intend to.
And this time we're actually hoping that the consistency itakuwa like there. There's actually a lady who aliniuliza, I'm one of those guys who mshina nikiambia I say consistency especially with things that they are doing, dreams that they are following. And then this lady was like, hey, you always preaching consistency here. Kwani why are you all of a sudden drinking wine? So I'm like, hey, okay.
Imagine umetulazimisha tukunywe.
Yeah. I didn't have a defense for that, but I hope the answer that we are giving right now makes sense, because we really needed to just slow down kidogo, because sometimes unaweza pata like, you're just moving too fast.
And inaka it's all over
exactly
the place.
Exactly.
Bila mambo ya strategy, then it just feels off. So I think sai unaweza mwambia umeona episode sai plus unajua tuko na inventory also what we do
actually by the
so guys, hang out with us. For those who have been hanging out with us,
for sure.
You're the realest. Wachana huyu. Only realest, but you're the realest.
He's actually right. So before we actually get to the topic for today, I wanted to ask you a question. Do you actually know? Okay, it's simple. Do you know how to play chess?
Yes, I do.
You do? Really? So this is an easy one. Who is like the top, rather the number one, like chess player right now in the world?
I don't know their name.
You don't know?
Where, Paul?
If kuna
I know the face.
Grandmasters hapo, please just let us know in the comments.
I know the face. Actually, okay, I don't know the name. Acha tu niseme sijui.
He's called Magnus Carlsen.
Okay, yeah, hapo you got me. That name hata singekumbuka. Well, you know how to play chess?
Yeah, I do.
Wongo.
Walai.
Okay, sawa.
Umenipata kwa that one is hiyo ni game najua huwezi nishinda.
Umenipata kwa number 1 global. Who's number 1 Kenya?
Chess.
Over 18. But ujua kwanza kuna over 18 na kuna under.
No. This one, I'm the one asking the questions. You will not be allowed to flip this on me apana. That one, save it for your next
career. So guys, just share your comments there. I know some people who are watching here know who it is, because I have friends in different area. Should I say area codes?
It's okay.
So just share it in
the
comments.
You have friends in
high places.
Okay.
Yes. So what do you think about today's topic? What are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about delayed gratification. And I think once you mention delayed gratification, you sort of like, without even mentioning instant gratification, you're already comparing them, because and I think even for your definition, delayed gratification,
there's a comparison to immediate or instant gratification.
Exactly. So that is what we're talking about today, delayed gratification, which I think is a very, very interesting topic. I'm hoping to take a lot out of this episode for today, even as the viewers also, we share what we've prepared for them, what we think, but I'm also hoping to just pick your mind on some of
the thoughts I have, or the discussions that may come up. Okay. So it's delayed gratification versus instant or immediate gratification. Okay, so we take the same approach, definition, then we now dive into,
of course, because probably there are guys who actually don't know what delayed gratification is, so I think it would be fair to just start with the definition.
Okay. For the definition, gratification, of course, acha tuangalie gratification, then we look at delayed. So gratification, from what I understand, or from what I've also just taken a couple of minutes to Google search and see, is the satisfaction that comes in, especially once a desire is met.
Okay.
So that's gratification in summary. Then I think that's basic. That's very basic. That's gratification. So now, when we're talking about delayed gratification, we're saying just that you can get that satisfaction, but you're saying I am willing to sacrifice that satisfaction for X amount of time so that I can get something else. And in the examples I was going through, or the research I was also taking in, there was this study that was done when about the 4-year-old kids who were
the marshmallow
experiment, where I'd ask a 4-year-old. It was more or less a test on how kids perceive gratification. So I'd tell you, I can give you a marshmallow now, or I'll wait for 10 minutes and I'll give you 2 instead. So I think that is the bare bone definition.
That's actually a very good example.
Where you're saying, okay, you want 1 now, or do you want 2 later? So I think that's what I can say about delayed gratification. What?
I think it makes sense. I'm trying to think of, you're like you're saying, you're delaying satisfaction. The immediate satisfaction. It's like you're postponing it to a later date so that you get a much bigger reward later. So it's like, I think the marshmallow experiment is perfect for that. Just wait a few minutes and then you'll actually get to enjoy 2 marshmallows. But on the other hand, instant gratification is
you get your marshmallow now.
You get your marshmallow now. You don't care about the
two. Tunatumia example ya marshmallow and then Kenya marshmallow.
Or rather, let's say
tuseme ringos ama tutumie example gani?
Ringos ni tule tu vitu watu kula.
Wewe uko Kenya?
I don't know.
Tuseme rings basi. Tuseme rings hawezi kosa.
Okay, so rings. So
nikupe rings sai ama ungoje like 30 minutes, then I'll give you 2 of whatever.
Yes. So that is a very good example of delayed gratification. But there are people who will say, no, I want mine now. Yes, I want mine now. I do not. So I know it's 10 minutes, see time refu, but I really feel as if I need that instant gratification.
Are you one of those people?
I think it depends.
Oh yes, very true.
It depends, but it I think mostly, for the most part.
Where him to aside, Jesus. Okay.
For the most part, I tend to try and delay the gratification. For the most part, especially when it comes to things that zina relate na goals zangu, especially vitu kama like, let's say I don't know if this is a good example, but let us say I have an exam that I need to study for. So personally, niko na simu hivi, I'm just scrolling, so I have the choice of
going into social media,
watching a
example. Tuseme for example, Infinity Wars, Endgame.
Yes,
exam ni kesho, but Endgame iko leo.
So I'm
just like, as an example,
but that is a very, very that's a tough one, because for me I think I never give up chance to watch Endgame. That one is a tough one for me. That one nitakuwa conflicted vibaya tena sana. Ama tuseme
kwanza nimeona sasa Furiosa imereleasiwa kwisha.
Ama tuseme pia like leo ni Champions League final, and then unajua venye zianza late 10
zinakwanga 10 ama I think
zinakwanga late.
Okay, hata chana.
So by the time game inaisha ni 12:30.
Bake ndio.
Kwanza bake by the sasa kwanza playoffs zinaendelea 3. So okay, by the to be honest, your example ya bake now I prefer the instant gratification. I usually by the I tend to like say let me just watch this game and then kesho kaenda venye kataenda, plus kasi jasoma already the whole sijui month ni difference gani ita make sign. So ni kujiconsole anyway, but I think ina depend. Unaona kitu ka bake hiyo ni kitu at least for me ni kitu like napenda sana. So inaweza kuwa a bit tricky to tell me to
not
but there are other things that I might say this one I can do without. For example, something like social media, that one I can do without very comfortably. I can comfortably just avoid the temptation of just scrolling mindlessly on my phone, watching a movie, unless Avengers or any MCU movie. So for me I think it depends on the goal, actually, what it is that you're going to do tomorrow. Maybe if it's an exam, if it's a place that you're going to, plus peer what I'm being asked to sacrifice right now. Yeah, it depends.
So for you weigh. What you'll do is you'll look at your options.
Yes, I will look at my options and make a rational decision.
Rational.
Depending on the factors.
Rational. Okay,
for the most
actually
part,
rational depending on what's important to you. I think that's,
yes. And that's what I'm saying. I need to look at that thing that I'm supposed to do tomorrow, that goal, that whatever it is, how dear is it to me, or how significant is it when it comes to, how it is affecting my life, my goals, and whatever things like that. And Pia, this thing that you're asking me to give up right now, how...
It's not someone asking you now. It's
it's actually
discussion.
It's an internal discussion
because I think Sai Kwanza, no one is asking you about anything, right? Sai, it's just about what do I want to do today? Today I know because tomorrow I need to be working. Probably right now we might need to be looking out how my report's looking, how did we leave Friday, and just so that you don't. Our party, they call them Monday blues, right? You're like unaingia kwa ofisi on Monday and you don't know where's the head and where's the tail, so everything's bashing you in all directions. But I think cue for me now to also share what I do. It's actually, from what you're saying, it's just a copy paste, that it will highly depend on what is the gratification point, what are the decisions that need to be made at that point. Because for me, I might probably, in your example now on studying, probably nimechapa kitabu semester mzima, my friend, alafu kuna mtu ananiambia ati hawezi enda kuwatch MCU, ati sijui Furiosa, ati sijui nini. I'm like, hapo ndio unasemanga nani amekwambia tumekuja shule kusoma, but tayari ulikuwa ushakula kitabu. But you've already wajua ulishachemsha
so exam ikae.
But because you've done all that preparation, it's actually not a tough decision for you. That you'll say, okay, this for me, instant gratification. But there are also some areas that I'll be like, Apana, now I just need to, because probably now let's say 3 movies zimereleasiwa back to back, and I know there's some preparation that I still need to do. Even probably like let's replace the exam with a presentation that ili submitiwa na I'm looking at the scenario where it's a group discussion and a reference hapa ni campus. It's a group discussion. Submissions have been shared by the teams today in the evening. And we've all agreed that Haron is the one who needs to present. So do I sit down on the 3 movies and now just rodogitio asubuhi unela?
I know. But I understand. I've actually had an experience like that, because there's this place that unakumbuka we actually used to work together. So and we had this culture, this tradition where every Monday morning, we'd gather, the entire department would gather, and then someone would either preach if if they feel like
or
it,
just
or
share
just share a verse, or even something just motivational, inspirational, or even a story that just teaches people something. So I remember,
talk about positive corporate culture.
Exactly, by the way. Okay. So I remember this one time, and at the beginning of the year, the officials used to share a calendar. So everyone knew that by
very positive.
this week 4 of May. It's actually very positive. Week 4 of May, it is Mumuli who is presenting. So it's January. You're seeing your name is in umewekwa May mwisho. So you have all the time to prepare. So me, I think, I just thought that I have all the time. I have like 3-4 months. So why bother right now? I just nilishtuka. Nikesho. actually I hata singekumbuka. It's just that one of the guys called me and they told me, by the way, do you remember tomorrow is Monday and you're the one who is presenting something.
Actually, they used to do that.
Yes.
They'd call you and be like, by the way, just in case you've forgotten, we shared the schedule.
Exactly.
And you are the one who needs to...
Which was actually very nice of them to remind you. So that person called me and they were like, oh, by the way, so me, I'm just chilling there, Netflix, watching my movies. And I'm like, what the? And then Sunday afternoon, not just Sunday afternoons, the way they're very relaxed, chilled. You don't want any stress.
You
don't want any nini. So the guy calls. Okay, I'm like, guy. It's tomorrow. So I asked him, but yeah, I'm not ready. I hadn't prepared. Is there a chance you can find someone else to do it? They're like, no one else can do
it. This is what is happening behind the curtains. Si ati mtu hakuwa na chance ya kujitayarisha weni.
But mse angenipigia like a week before. Why are you telling me Sunday afternoon by then? You know the way Sundays are.
Sundays kupigia January
Sunday afternoon, that was very unfair, baby. But that was very unfair. I actually felt hata nilikuwa na wish ningekuwa nimezima simu cause but I really felt bad. So
now you're gaslighting someone who sent you the schedule on 1st of January.
But they're supposed to remind you every other time. Like resend that schedule every other time. Like, hey, by the way, guys, this is the schedule. Things haven't changed. Guys, if you're in week 4 of May, you're still in week 4 of May. So he's just ambushing me like, tomorrow you're doing something. By the way, that was very... So I had the choice. I think at that time there was a series I was watching on Netflix. And then missy watching the series ni rare. But I had found this very nice series. It
now
was very
we find
interesting.
The reason why we are
so then someone is just so I weighed my options. Okay. So tomorrow it's saini sangapi? Saini 4 Sunday. Nimechill kwa hao whether iko chilled ni zile mara kuna kibaridi hata utai kwenda kutoka nje. So like okay sir, what do I prepare? I tried calling. There's a certain lady we used to work with. She was a very nice one. Ukiwa kama umeambushiwa ukimcall for her atakuwa like tomorrow okay sawa, I'll do it for you. I'll just interpret on your behalf. I'll lean on your behalf.
This is what's happening behind the curtains.
And then unajua she was one of those ladies when they never miss church. They used to go for they used to wanaenda for Wednesdays kuna zinitangoaje Bible study. Thursdays juu kuna nini, as in the whole week there are some church things scattered around. So like ako in that nini already, that church mood, that preaching haizi kosa. Ni wale watu hata akienda tu mahali hivi and then hakuwa ana expect aitwe ambiwe haya by the way nani come say a verse for us, share just 2 words, say something inspiring to these people. Atamka tu very comfortably.
Mnatoka hapo
mnatoka hapo mkiwa very inspired.
Kuna mtu angependa kuokoka.
In fact, yes, at the end of the nini, you're even wondering, by the hata naweza okoka. Venye ame preach. So I called her. Sadly, she was starting her leave that same Monday. So obviously siezi. Haizi. I was like, okay, sawa. But sasa I think like a few weeks before kuna place ingine nilikuanga nimeenda and then I had shared something. So I was like, I'll just copy paste. Nikasema stashinda nikijisumbua na hii kitu. So I continued with my series. I actually watched it I think up to 12. And then the thing with series zinakuanga tamu like Sunday sasa jioni. Sasa hiyo ndio umecharaza unashindwa hii series imekuwa hapi tangu Friday, Sunday ndio unapatana nayo jioni. So nikaendelea tu, kesho yake nikaenda tu.
And it went well?
No, it did not. I think that was the worst by the the worst presentation nishaikuwa now in front of people by the like I think nilikuwa nimejiamini sana like cause the previous one nilikuwa nimefanya vizuri. This one I was so sure hii tu ni kuichapa like si niko na tu zile nini notes ni ku spit everything out to cover and nilifanya. By the it did not go well. I spent a whole 30 minutes there just
trying to say the same thing.
And as in haiko ina follow like unaona venye unaweza peana ka presentation kakitu kame flow vizuri kuna ka intro ka waterfall like umeenda hapo katikati umepeana two examples umeengage crowd umecrack joke moja mbili watu
bado tu
ina flow na nini like kitu ina flow hadi inaenda tu kuisha vizuri. In fact hata watu wakitoka hapo wanasikia tu by the that was inspiring. That was like a few 15-30 minutes well spent, especially on a Monday morning. So I rambled on for like I think a whole 30 minutes. I actually siwezi kuambia ni nini nilisema. I was just all over the place. By the way sijai kuwa na nini mbaya hivyo. In fact there was this friend of ours mwenye anakuanga very blunt.
Yes.
Honest by the ikifika ni kukwambia ukweli. Anakuambianga tu like by the hapo. In fact sasa sikuwa nimemaliza watu tu venye wameanza kuskata. He was like by the nini umetoka kusema like nini umetoka by the ni wale wasa wanakuanga very hata unaweza mkasirikia but mimi napenda hiyo by the way niambie tu. And then I think during the course of that week some other people had mentioned it by the especially and ile kitu ilifanya ni notice ni our boss alikuwa ngole mdosi wetu and then alikuwa passionate na hizo vitu za presentations prayer nini. He actually mentioned it because there was a time we had gone to his office to talk about something as a group and then he was like so this guy was just rambling the other day for like a whole 30 minutes. My heart just sank and I was like I thought people did not notice kumbe kitu iliharibu that thing hadi wa leo sijui kaulikuwa I think haukuwa by the
okay.
By the I think haukuwa and I think ni zile sessions nilikuwa hapo the whole time niko all over the place hadi watu wengine wameboeka watu unajua hizo ma sessions zingine watu tu wanakuanga okay as in washa lose you're not engaging you're not exciting enough to keep hold of their attention like attention. So that is a very good example of where I really
fumbled because of instant gratification.
Yes, and
so
ever
what
since
was your
that
instant gratification bit? What did you choose to gratify yourself instantly?
See, I wanted to just watch that series. It was a very exciting series by the way, and already because nilikuwa nimeanza I do want to like let it go. So instead of just kuzima and then niseme okay let me look for something, prepare something small nice and then yes, or even ninge sineme choose copy paste the previous one ninge bado tu ningekaa chini ni go through tu tena vizuri ni revise nini na nini but because I didn't do that but ever since that day preparation is something else nowadays, especially something that I need to present in front of people.
Kama hapa
yeah fadhali I'll prepare like something else. I'll switch off everything. I'll even go to the mountains like Gashago went to Mount Kenya the other day to pray and fast
for clarity.
For clarity. I'll even do that. So yeah, that is an example of where I but it was a good lesson for me at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
Yes, and you have you found yourself in a situation where like you ended up choosing instant gratification and then eventually things did not go well for you at the end?
I think for me wacha nitumie a different example but yes, immediately the answer is yes. I chose instant gratification and it really messed me up. But I also want us, I don't know if you'll allow, but I also want us to look at scenarios where delayed gratification isn't as rewarding as you thought it would be, right? Because currently in the conversation so far, at the back of our minds, we are of course already thinking that delayed gratification is way better than
by me instant gratification.
So now the example probably I'd want to use is I have you came to me and you told me utanipea ringo ama rings ama marshmallow mbili if I wait 10 minutes. But I wait for the 10 minutes and you're like, man, saa hizo marshmallows zimeenda, hata hakuna siwezi kakupea kitu. Na ningechukua ile moja, I would have been better off, right?
I think there are instances like that where especially with the benefit of hindsight, you're like, I wish I'd actually like taken.
Okay, I would have.
So me, by the way, if I can give you an example of kitambo when I was growing up, and then nilikuwa home, unajua venye kitambo growing up, okay, me especially kwenye nilikuwa mtaa, vitu ka mkate ziko ngati vitu tu unazipata tu lying around tu hivyo.
So kwani kuna mtu okay,
labda I can't speak for
labda iko mimi hata si mkate ilikuwa umekula mkate leo wewe, unajua nilikuwa ukibeba mkate ukienda home leo.
Sasa ni kanusu. Unajua kitambo watu walikuwa wanakatiwa bedhe, kitambo watu walikuwa wanakatiwa mkate nusu
kana
hivi kana ile
toka nao mbio kabla chai poa.
So me remember this was a Sunday evening. Tulikuwa tumechill kwa hao na mother, and then I think that day mzai alikuwa amekam. So I think my mother asked me to give her something. So as I was going to kumletea, nikapatana na ka slice juu 3-4 I'm like, aya, by the way, hizi mkate zilikuwa hapa, see, I can just eat them right now. So my mom was like, okay, you can just eat them as na prepare supper and then you'll eat supper. My dad was like, I know, see, akule tu hiyo mkate kesho asubuhi as anaenda shule.
Mbona
bere nikaboeka, unajua unajama, alafu as a kid things like mkate like una feeling
very important,
like, and then you need it right then, right sayo. So he said
Netflix, hiyo ndio presentation yako.
So my dad said no, zin acha atakula kesho asubuhi akienda shule. Mala akaitikia. So the following morning, of course nimeamka, niko like, nice by the way, kuna kale kamkate nilikuwa slice nne by the way. Kwenda kuchukua mkate by the way, kufungwa hivi napata iko na molds manze, imeharibika. Mimi nilikuwa nimejaa by the way. That thing like really just pissed me off.
No, kwani how old were you?
It was kitambo, I was in primary.
Like class gani yenye unajua mold vile inakaa?
Of course, unashindwa aje mold. No, even you'll just even ask your mom, kwani what is this? And then she'll tell you, by the way, imeharibika. In fact, I think if ningekuwa hapo peke yangu ningekula.
Because me, I'm thinking mi hapa nitambua. Kwanza unaingizaga mkono unauma bites mbili then unaangalia. That's why I'm asking, kwani how old were you that uko na intellect yako ya
I think it's actually my mom who saw, and then she was like, by the way, imkate because I think yende aliserve your breakfast, and then once she like placed the slices there, she's like, by the way, so I was really mad at my dad. So you only have a very good example of where
delayed gratification
it messes you up. Nika venye unasema that marshmallow, you know,
umeambua ziko mbili alafu unaambua
unapata mse alishajitoa yuko economy as in, so you're like ili wenye walichukua basi ya kwanza huko hivyo.
Me, I'm embarrassed to say, but I think at some point I got caught up in hizi. Nakumbuka zile stories za watu ati I think you know what I want to talk about.
I don't know. Actually, the people don't know. I'm just like them. I'm hearing this for the first time.
Deposit online utakula. Sikia vile naisha. Come on. Mimi nakuchekelea kwa mkate. That was back then though. Usicheke sana. Yeah.
You fallen for that?
No, back then. Relax. Sai tumeka. I'm not feeling like this.
It's a safe space anyway. It's no judgment. So
okay, for me it was actually see at ile online. It was Bitcoin. By the time I was Bitcoin started off really well, and I know people who have raised more money than they can spend.
True.
Just by adopting in early. So me nili delay because of course my financial position back then from now very different.
Yeah.
So by the time I was ready to invest in Bitcoin, ni kama ilikuwa nishaisikia ni kama alikuwa nangoja tu mumuli ya deposit pesa alafu tu chats zikae tu ati wow. So I'm telling you, I was like, by the I counted because I think I waited for like 12 years from the inception of Bitcoin. From the first time I heard about Bitcoin, I wasn't ready. By the time I was ready, it was 12 years. So I deposited money to my account using my Coinbase, the apps. I don't want to, actually, I shouldn't even have mentioned the app. Deposited funds, and I'm like, wacha tuone ikimea. Immediately went down. That was about, I think it was 2022. It was the worst hit. Apo Sandio, everyone
and
was
by
now,
the way, it's funny because Bitcoin for the longest time it was just
protection was high. Then now all these other altcoins came in yenye.
Yeah.
So it just went
wow.
So for me that was like unajua I was waiting for my gratification.
Mekelea nini yake wache hapo. Okay. Mshahara kwache hapo. Kanea tumekekelea hapo alafu
unaiona tu. Alafu unajua kwanza ilikuwa for me mentally I had told myself okay, from all the by the stories ilikuwa zisha build up, everyone was being conned right, left and center. So I told myself okay, for me disposable na si kitu ati nikiweka leo nitaangalia imefika wapi.
Okay.
Sasa the unfortunate bit is nikishaweka tu hivi nikaanza kusema hebu acha nione kwanza nilideposit saa hiyo na kakatang kidogo. I'm very serious. Kakaanza tu kuanguka immediately.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate.
Nikasema we. Alafu it was actually that time, that last bit, I remember which other coin was failing that time. Let me try and remember.
Okay.
I forget the name of the other coins that were failing. But kile inakuja kwa akili. Okay, nikikumbuka probably I'll mention. But immediately niliweka tu hivi and it went. So I'm like, no, now I can't withdraw because
you've already lost.
Nataka pesa yangu kwanza irudi. Yeah. So again, big mistake because kanaendelea tu and you're like so eventually I was like, it's fine. The initial agreement was I won't be looking at what's happening to it. So hadi wa leo I don't check it.
Kai, you should check it. Maybe it's
skia.
So it's still there. Maybe you should. We, guys, nini iko aje sahi? Maybe tunaweza kuwa na milioni hapa sahi na sijui kijana amekatu hapa. Kitu ilishaanza ku rise kidogo.
But it's been going down. Nasikizanga ma news hivi bali kidogo and I'm like I'm not ready to get depressed again.
But anyway, just be patient. But you never know. Like things might look up.
But either way, me hiyo nishasahau, so hiyo nikaa yenye imeenda kwa mganga.
Yeah.
But for me, yes, that's an example. And I think also part of the reason I was also very interested to just hear any discussions about now. We've talked about instant gratification and we've also talked about delayed gratification. Is that you see life is complicated, and just because you decide on delayed gratification does not mean that you will automatically be in a better position than you were if you took the instant gratification. Because there are times for me there are times that instant gratification just really worked for me.
It's funny. It's funny because when for example tunakuja na hizi topics, whether it's delayed gratification we are talking about, I don't know, and many other topics that we've been talking about, mimi nikikuja kwa this setting nakujanga with the mindset that delayed gratification is a positive thing, as in skwangi nime so but I really like how you usually like turn the nini and then you're like, but are you really sure that it's always always positive, it's always nice to delay gratification? Because like you're saying, and I'm sure quite a number of people out there, when they hear delayed gratification,
like that's the way
to go. But like you're saying, there are instances where it may not serve you as well as the instant gratification. And I really like your nini.
Thank you. But that is not to say that delayed gratification doesn't work.
Yes. But you're saying, yes, it works, but you also need to like consider some of these factors.
Have the intellect to just decide.
There are instances where it may not serve you as well as you think it might. So yes, cut your example ya nini. Hata mimi yangu ya, kesho yake naamka napata nini, or even the marshmallow that you're saying. And by the way, we're actually talking about the marshmallow experiment, like everyone knows it, but you can actually just go and Google it. It's an experiment that I think was done in the 1960s where,
and I think they arrived at a conclusion that was debunked, right?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, yeah.
But I think the general idea of the experiment was kids were placed in a room, and then they were given a marshmallow. They were told, if you do not eat this marshmallow right now, you'll get too late after like 15 minutes. So the adult will leave the room and then leave the kid there with the marshmallow. And some kids ate it by the immediately. Some kids waited a bit long and ate it maybe at around minute 12. Some kids actually waited till the adult came back and got their second marshmallow. Yes, so that is the experiment, by the way, it's marshmallow experiment. And like you're saying, one of the things is affect how you interact with or how you treat delayed gratification in future is come on, that kid, they waited for 15 minutes and they never got the second marshmallow. Then it really affects
how they choose whether to instantly be gratified or delay their gratification
in future, because they're like, I've been waiting and nothing is happening, like or
atakuwa nakumbuka marshmallow mse, so mi hapa sidai mnipe pesa yangu sasa.
Exactly,
I'm using the exact example where it's money that's involved, and I'm like, actually the template that comes to mind whenever we talk about gratification is now in real life, now as grown-ups, is when you're doing investments that you're saying, okay, I don't want to spend my money now, I want to put it somewhere where it will where once I come back it will serve me better, or it will have some right? But it's exactly as you're saying, that even though you are trying to decide where to instantly satisfy yourself, or instantly gratify yourself or delay your gratification, you also need to have the intellect to assess whatever choice you're making, because life is so complicated that some choices that represent themselves like delayed gratification are actually out there to con you. Does that make sense? So whereas Githinji, you need to have the intellect to really decide, is this really delayed gratification for me, or do I just need to instantly gratify myself? Now in the example of finances, or now the other tougher decisions that you need to make, sometimes you will want to delay your gratification with the thought that that will indeed be delayed gratification, but whatever is represented is just out there to con you from whatever investment or whatever sacrifice you're making. Wanna get?
Give me an example.
Tuchukue tu example ya funds that I remember back then, one of the largest stories that I think had hit was the people who had decided to invest in some SACCO that was related to Safaricom. I forget which one it was. And in my mind, I'm like, these were people who are saying, I want the closest one is this investment, I forget the name, but construction. What's the name of that okay, But in summary,
I get your point.
You're thinking as an investor, you're thinking this is a good investment plan because it has good returns.
Yeah.
But with someone who now has the real, who is able to analyze whatever is being presented, they're able to see that this instead is a pyramid scheme. You get?
Yeah.
So for you, you're like, okay, I need delayed gratification. Wacha niweke pesa huko. But someone else ataangalia sema that's a con, right? Huko usiweke pesa ama ataamua yeye haweki. So uweke yako iende. Then whoever else had the intellect to see that indeed that was a con or that was a pyramid scheme was able to either withdraw early before it all fell down or was able to invest in another real opportunity that now gave them the gratification that they were looking for, right?
And again, I think that still touches on the how reliable the reward is, or how assured you are of the reward, in the sense that, yes, I am, for example, telling my employer, okay, just cut 5-10% of my salary, direct it to this circle, this investment opportunity somewhere here.
I love circle inaanguka.
Yes.
Okay.
So and that has happened by the a lot of times. Like, you're saving money in a circle, and then you've saved for like 10 years by the way. And siku moja tu mnaamka kwa news, you're being told that someone was just embezzling funds.
Wanaonyesha vile alikuwa anapiga selfie akiwa Dubai na pesa zenyu. Jesus Christ.
So you've been delaying your gratification, hoping that in future you'll have some funds to maybe if it's retirement or just investments. But it actually makes sense.
Okay, I'm really hoping.
But I think even like because I think ukiongelea delayed gratification, the best sort of like example of a study that was done was the marshmallow experiment. It's interesting because the guys who were doing the experiment back then in the 60s, they say that they actually those kids were like 4 or 5 years old. They actually followed those kids for like 40 years, and then just monitoring how their lives turned out. And the study was saying that kids who are able to delay gratification, kids who are able to wait for the 15 minutes and then get the second marshmallow, ended up getting better grades in school. They were less likely to engage in substance abuse. They were less likely to be obese. They were, they had better social skills. Of course, it's not at I'm sure it's not at all of them, but they are saying if it's grades, they are more likely to get good grades, highly likely than maybe someone who just did not even delay, getting the marshmallow. So I think I actually found that to be interesting, because I'm like, okay, so actually the ability to delay gratification in the, in the general sense, it has
in the larger,
yes, in the grand scheme of things, it helps you. Or rather, it can act as a, I don't want to say a predictor of how someone
successful.
Yes, it is not the
determining factor.
Yes,
but it's one factor that may affect.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is one of the many factors that
will determine actually.
Yes, will determine whether someone becomes successful or not in life. I actually found that to be very interesting.
And I agree. I actually agree with that. With that thought, because now again, even if you sit down and you do an assessment of the times that you decided to delay, to just delay on something, not delay on delivering, but delay your gratification for most of the time, probably not all, but the better percentage of it, you actually got out more fruitful or in a better position than you would have in the event that you decided to immediately address your gratification, right? Yes,
it's true. Because I think someone who is able to delay gratification, in a sense, that is someone who is has I don't know whether this is correct, but has self-control in a way, because you're like, there's Netflix here, but I'm like, no, I don't want to watch it. Let me schedule when I'll watch it, because right now I need to work on a presentation that is due tomorrow. I need to work on something else. It actually shows that someone can be able to, like, you know, put aside their urges, or rather the temptation, and just focus on what needs to be done at this particular moment. And I think that you know, that is someone also that has a bit of patience, because you're like, okay, take the example of the kids. I'm like, I really want to eat this ringo, but no, let me just
kama ni mbili sijai shiba na ringo moja. Kama ni mbili wacha ningoje.
Bado there's a bit of patience there, because you're like, let me just wait. I know I'm hungry, I know I want, this is very tempting, it's right here, I can see it, but let me just wait. So there's a bit of patience as well. And I think that's why even that study was rather saying that people who are able to delay gratification are more likely to end up rather to be successful in life, because maybe they have better self-control, they, you know, can exercise a lot more patience, you know, and willpower as well, because you're like, I won't do it.
Manzo unafanya ikae kama struggle.
Vitu zingine zinakwanga struggle. Like sometimes to delay the gratification, because I think the natural instinct yenye tunakwanga nayo ni.
But that's actually a very important statement that you've shared right there, that we have a natural instinct to instantly gratify ourselves. That's what you are.
Yes. So if that is your natural instinct, delaying gratification means you're in a way fighting
your natural instinct.
Yes. And that takes a lot of effort and a lot of power.
You're fighting your.
Yes.
So from that,
it's like you're going against the current. Like water is flowing like this, but you're trying to swim upstream. Yeah.
From that, it would be safe to say that again, delayed gratification is not something that is innate. That Harold Mumuli was born with the mentality of delayed gratification, that Harold alikuwa tu from day one, hata kunyonya maziwa alikuwa za I can wait.
Relax maziwa iko mingi ndani. I don't think so. I actually don't think so. And by that is another thing that I think affects delayed gratification, because for kids it's very difficult for them to actually delay gratification. A kid, I'm like, sweetie iko hapa, like atakula tu. But as people grow, as you age, you're like, I know I can delay this one, because I understand there's a greater reward
that will be coming. I'm able to just hold it.
And that is something that it becomes a bit difficult to communicate to a kid unless it's maybe as clear as that marshmallow experiment. So yeah, age actually affects that thing, how you know how old you are. And I think also, because as I was reading that experiment, I saw somewhere there they were saying that women are more likely to delay gratification than men.
So there are more. So in general, you are saying there are more male addicts than female. Now I'm just trying to.
Yeah, we can simplify it like that, but I'm just saying that women are have better self-control, are better at self-control, are better when it comes. They have more patience. They have. Yes, they can say.
You guys also share what you think about this entire discussion. But okay, yes, I can see from some aspects, I can see yes. That.
But they were saying it's just they have a slight edge of a man, just like a slight edge. We are all like at the same level, but they just have like a slight edge of a man, and I think. But I don't know. Like you're saying, we would like to hear what you guys think. Whether do women, are
they better at delaying gratification
than men? Yes.
Because as we said, of course, your reference here, drug addicts, ilikuwa joke.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Because although we are saying
but okay, yes, it's a joke. You're saying it's a joke,
but it could
it could actually be true. We actually need to look at the data, because I think
no, okay, it might not be the case, because we said although it's a factor, it's not the only factor.
Yeah, it's not.
There are a lot that has
factor.
to come to play, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also curious to find out now from you. There's a time you mentioned that you got to a point where now, if it's about delayed gratification, you are better at managing the delay than you were before. Yeah. So now if we compare Githinji now versus Githinji mwenye aliamua kuwatch Netflix, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious, is it something you did? Do you have like a playbook yenye unaweza share, yenye unaweza sema, okay, for me to improve because we're saying currently in our discussion, in which I'm agreeing 100% with you, delayed gratification as a skill or as a tool as we walk through life is something that gives you an edge.
Yeah.
Probably not all the edge you require, but it's just a nice to have.
Yeah.
Or you stand a better chance to be more successful, to achieve the goals that you have and all that.
Yeah.
So if Haron Mumuli is seated here na mi nasema mi sitambui kitu kama delayed, mi hapa kama si saa hii ni sasa hivi sitambui hiyo kile mnasema. So how does Haron Mumuli get from saa hii ama sasa hivi to I know it can wait, because if we give it 2 months, or if we give Bitcoin 12 years, I will actually have the return I'm looking for, and it's not the 3 months that I want to give. You get?
Yeah.
Is it something you did specifically, or are you able to quickly like assess and say, okay, I think for me it started with ABC, right?
I think for me, and one of the, I'll just give you an example of one of the things that maybe Sain is a struggle now when it comes to delaying gratification. It's let me just use the social media example, because nowadays it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy, like you're trying to focus.
I think we said this on an episode.
Yeah.
The apps are out to finish you.
Yes, by the way, these things are just...
Ukifungua tu kwanza, unafungua hivi message moja, vile unajipata IG ama TikTok, you don't even know.
And you spend like a whole 2 hours there, and you just... ulikuwa tu umeingia kuangalia like a notification to just someone had sent you something on WhatsApp. But instead of going to WhatsApp,
kwanza ilikuwa text, and unaambiwa your bundles are almost done, please top up. Vile ulinunua bundles ukawatch IG for the stream.
So it's for me, I'll use that example. And I think when you're trying to do something, let's say it's a project that you're trying to work on, it's something that you're trying to work on your laptop, and then you find, when unasema a message imeingia, you go in to check, maybe respond to that person, and then hautoki immediately, you just umeingia TikTok, you in YouTube, a whole 4 hours imeisha. So I think for me, when I looked at how I am, when I just sat down and just analyzed, and especially that happened especially when I think it helped when we did that episode on social media. There's an episode by the way we did on social media where we talked about
callback. Yes, Shanza callback.
Yeah, callback.
The first episode we're coming back, Eish. Kumbe strategy ilikuwa okay.
So I think when we were talking about that episode, although it's been something that I've just been trying to analyze, I was like, hey, by the way, I think I am actually spending quite a lot of time on social media, and it's just mindless scrolling. You're not, it's not like you went there to look for something and then got out immediately. It's like you're just bored, scrolling 3 hours immersion. So you realize that the amount of time you're wasting on these things, it's a lot, by the way. And when for example there's something that is due, maybe there's some work that was due tomorrow, and then you've wasted the whole afternoon instead of working on that thing. And then tomorrow, obviously the consequences,
catch up.
Yeah, they catch up. So when that happens quite a lot, you realize you're like, something actually needs.
I'm not comfortable with the person I'm becoming.
Needs to change. And clearly, if we look at that example, hiyo peke yake, you're like delayed gratification there. It
wins.
Yeah, wins by the hands down by the. So just delay it, do whatever you need to do, finish it, and then. So I think one of the ways that has actually helped me. And we actually talked about it in that episode.
Second callback.
Callback by the way to that
first episode.
We actually talked about it in that episode. Is the Pomodoro technique. You remember I said if you have something that you need to work on and you know it's going to take like 4 hours. Of course, when you look at 4 hours, you're like, that is a lot of time. Like, you know, how will I even get through the 4 hours? So in that episode, we said just divide that 4 hours into 30 minutes session. So work for 25 minutes continuously without taking a break, and then take a 5-minute break. After the 5-minute break imeisha, go back, work for another 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. Believe it or not, that thing has really helped me. So I usually naekanga kwa
stopwatch
kwa laptop by the way, because I found there's an you can kuna kanini kanaitwa focus pale hivyo karibu na nini hapa. So unaeka and then you time 25 minutes. So you just work and then unapata you in the zone like umechapa job, hiyo ndo inakukumbusha by the way ka 5-minute break ngoka kiasi. And then nachukua simu, if it's messages I need to respond to, if it's TikTok I need to refresh kidogo, but I know it's 5 minutes. 5 minutes zikisha narudi. And then funny thing, ako ka 5 minutes like una feel ni kama kako worth it, like una get like it's dakakobole so it's junta explain aje like kako
ina feel like a reward,
ina feel like yes exactly ina feel like a real reward like by the way this is and then since you've worked for 25 minutes straight, you're like I really deserve this reward. Even when you're taking that reward, you're like this one is well deserved. So for me, I've been trying that and it has really worked well for me. Sometimes I'll do like maybe a kawana, maybe 55 minutes and then 5-minute break, depending on what it is I'm working on and things like that. So for me, that has actually worked by the and yeah. So Niki compare how results zangu before, like how effective I was before and efficient versus now. It has served me well.
So for you, a general assessment of how you're operating was the one that pulled you back to say
exactly.
Instant gratification sometimes is not the best fit.
Yeah, okay. I don't know about you.
Very interesting. Okay, for me, I think it's a scare. Mi ni woga. Ni ile nakaa nasema unajua kesho inakaribia.
No procrastinate hadi mashtukia Allah. Ni leo.
So okay, yeah. For me on quite a number of now the operations, I'll be like, I am thinking about this thing. And if I'm thinking about it, it's because the timeline is almost done and something needs to be delivered there. And that thought just utaona tu by the way from time to time actually nakaaga tu ni kama wazimu. Nitasimama niseme I need to do this. And ikifika hapo yenye I'm saying I need to do this before nitoe hapo. By that sometimes now inakuaga okay. I haven't attempted the Pomodoro technique. Minutes then break, but I will say okay, for any of a project that I need to engage in, if I know it'll take 6 hours, okay, currently I have at least a good idea of how much time it might need to take. So if it'll take 6 hours and I know it needs to be delivered tomorrow, usually I will be having all the alarms ringing by Sunday saa 4 asubuhi, because hizo ndio 6 hours za mwisho za kuhakikisha that it's ready for tomorrow. So for me it's I don't know, eventually it's something that again I built, so matters on muscles and whatnot, that because I know this Haron Mumuli needs to sleep, needs to da-da-da-da. It's like I'll do a mental calculation backwards of how much time I have to finalize. So kama ni hiyo activity yenye umesema that I know is needed tomorrow, in my head I'll be like, hiyo kitu kama si leo saa 8 manze tumemess. Na kesho I can't afford. Especially now when you think about the consequences, so it's like I'm thinking about the consequences and I'm like, no, I can't handle those consequences. So let's just deliver what we're able to deliver, then tutaongelea consequences. And that's what now for me delayed gratification looks like. Then I'll be like, hey, I can't watch it. Not now. Probably to watch siku ingine. And now what makes it more enticing for me is if I say I'll watch it siku ingine, my friend, hiyo hata kama you see I took 13 years to purchase Bitcoin. Hiyo hata nikisema I will need to come back. I will at some point, trust me, I'll come back for it. So now I think if I was to like for like compare with now how your gratification looks like, your 5-minute break to me is I finally get what I promised myself that I'd get.
But I think that is a very important aspect of this whole discussion of delayed gratification. Because again, like you're saying, if you delay the gratification, but at the end of it all, the gratification is not there.
There's no award.
There's no reward.
Then, sorry. Then hata pia wewe utakuwa like, why am I delaying it?
Exactly.
For what reason am I delaying it for? Nasema tu kazoze nako.
But that is a very good example. The reward has to be worth it, and it has to be there. Example tu ataka hiyo. For example, you have kids, and then you tell them, once you finish your homework, you'll watch TV, or TV. I'll give you a snack or something like that. But then they wangangane wamalize homework, and then you're telling them actually
Masaa TV imeisha. Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? And I think I've had these conversations sometimes with let me call them parents that would tuseme for example, okay, it's a conversation that came up separately mahali tu kwingine. For example, now you have a kid, son, probably chopi and all that, umwambie sasa wewe ukiperform vifiti nitakubaia the latest PlayStation. Si ndio? So mimi kama kijana yako ninaenda na charaza chuo, naenda na chop kila kitu, nakuwa number 1. Siendi hata break. Nafika mtaa watu wananigotea na wambia kitabu. I've done all that. Then I'm finally number 1. But now there's a twist to it, because sasa hii kukua nini imenifanya nikuwe more obnoxious. That sasa social skills iko off. Hata ukinituma nakwambia hapana, wewe niwache nisome wewe. So nakuongelesha hivyo kama mzazi, remember. So now you're battling with amekuwa number 1, but akona tabia zingine zenye mimi sijaiona hii maisha. Do you still buy him the PlayStation?
I think I'll still buy him the PlayStation, because
it's funny that you're saying that, kwa sababu bado kijana akajafika time ya kukua number 1.
But amekuwa number 1.
Amekuwa number 1.
So like we had agreed at the start of the term, at the beginning of the term, I promised him. Currently uko number 15.
Guys, also share. Wacha. Let's also please share what you do in that scenario.
Yes, please.
That ameokota tabia zingine unaangalia kwani number 1 inakuja na hizi matabia.
But you still you promised this kid. Like, and hizo tabia zenye ameokota, that is the price that you're having to pay for him getting to number 1. Okay, let me just say that is the price that you're having to pay for him to get to number 1. So which one would you rather? Like, still back in number 15, but he's still a very joyous kid, he's playing with everyone. Which one do you want? Like, you just have to choose one.
But unajua ni zile tabia, a friend of mine used to call them tabia chepe. yenye unaangalia as in you're even embarrassed to call that someone would call them your kid huko mbele.
It's that bad.
But yeah, it's that bad. Yenye I'm now just trying to
what is this kid doing? You're actually now starting to scare me.
Unajua, I'm really trying to see kama utachukulia ukijana PlayStation.
Okay.
Ile yenye unamuita koza unataka azin unaget azin tu tabia imekuwa tu.
Tufike hapo. Mtoto wangu ananiongelesha hivyo ndo tufike hapo. Tumefika aje hapo?
So utamchukulia PS bado?
Still nitafanya hivi. Nitamchukulia PS. Nitamwambia tuli agree ukiget number 1 nitakuchukulia PS. PS ndio hii hapa. But kuna tabia umekuwa nazo of late na hazinifurahishi, na of course hazifurahishi maybe hata your teachers, your friends and everyone. So this is what we'll do. The PS will stay in my room until you actually we improve on your behavior or something like that. So I'm trying to avoid not fulfilling the promise that I had made earlier, because you see, if you do that, then it's like you've trust hapo haiko like this kid trust. So cause nimembaia PS ataona by the my parent alikuwa truthful, I can actually trust them even now that they are telling me I need to work on my behaviors, on my social skills and things like that. And then up until then, that is when they'll give me the PS to play with. I can trust them because if they actually bought me the PS, I don't think atakata kunipatia PS nicheze nao. So me personally, I think that's how I'd handle it.
So umesema wewe hakuna cha kudelay gratification na wewe kijana mpaka tabia ziwe sawa? Nitabai na nimuonyeshe ndio hii. Si umekuwa number 1? Ndio hii hapa. But ninaiweka kwa bedroom yangu under lock and key. Uki improve on your behavior, then we'll think about we'll actually give you this thing to be playing with. So yes, it's again another lesson in delayed gratification for him. So just work on yourself and then we'll give you this reward.
Okay. But I think hapo kuna very important message even to, if we have, because I'm sure part of our audience kuna wengine their parents, they have kids. Parents, If you actually give that kid, if you actually promise that kid something, you make them delay some gratification and then you do not fulfill that promise that you're given to them,
it could actually affect them negatively and distort their perception on delayed gratification.
Exactly.
Because if we now refer to the example that we're looking at of the kids who are promised marshmallows and eventually you're told, sorry, kwanza, the issue was everyone decided to get their marshmallow then and then, so we can't give you any. You lose your trust on now.
And that wasn't his problem. Wewe ulinishani promise. So mimi have done what you asked me to do. So they asked
ile story ya nani? Was it? I'm trying to remember. 7 years of toiling and your promise to it just came to mind. I'm sorry.
That is a very good example, and I hadn't thought of it. That is a very good example, by the way. And that was who? It was Jacob Obama. Joseph. It was someone. Can't remember. But
why don't I remember the name?
I think it was Jacob. It was Jacob. He was promised, work for 7 years and then we'll give you this. I can't remember whether it was Rachel or Leah. And then by the people who are very well conversant with the good book, please just let us know.
With the most sold book in the world. With the most famous book in the world.
True. So that is a very good example. So the father promised him, if you work for me for 7 years, I will give you I will. And then toiling is toiling, my friend. Toiling is toiling. Toiling is not just working. Toiling yani ile hata kunika kuna kulala unaamka by the hata nikaa hulali. So it's work so for 7 years you work, and then the daughter that you're promised as to marry, you're told it's another one. I think the second one.
Actually, in our culture, we can't give this
without this. So you have now to work for another 7 years. So you see, this guy, it's because alikuwa determined to actually get that that lady at the end of the day. So that's why I think he persevered through the 7 years. But especially for children, minds that are just growing and, they're very impressionable, like, they pick up on, whatever
cues and all that.
Yeah, it might actually end up affecting them.
It might even distort their worldview. That
exactly. Yeah.
Wenye wanasemanga delayed gratification. Mi sijaiona, so usiniambie hapa mambo ya delayed gratification. And when actually it's a nice tool that can really help you just get to a better position.
True.
Okay.
I think we've covered most of what we wanted to cover. If there's something we've not covered, please just let us know in the comments below. If there's something maybe you would like us to expound on, let us know, and then we'll definitely just look into it. And
very true. And I know in this discussion we have shared very specific examples about delayed gratification, but the truth about it is not just in such specific scenarios. These are actually decisions we even make on the daily. That choosing A versus B just slightly tangents your objectives, takes a turn from your objectives or what you intended to do or what you intended to achieve. But as again we've already agreed in this conversation, delayed gratification is a nice to have for someone who really hopes or intends to be a better person, who has the objectives, who just wants to be somebody somewhere, right? So also share your insights, share your input on such conversations. We are really interested to see what you think about all the conversations we are having here. And again, tukipatana next time, we can also just push forward the entire conversation. Again, this is a very general perspective about instant and delayed gratification. But I'm sure if now you share your own insights and dimension that probably we haven't covered, we can address it in a different episode. Otherwise, that has been it from us for this episode. Until you get us next time, of course, remember to like, share, subscribe, and tangaza bado hapa followers. Si tulikuwa tunadhani tukienda turudi tutapata
numbers
namba
kama hiyo bitcoin unaekelea unangoja unadhani hata uangalie unangoja unadhani imeenda juu.
But yes, we really like to engage in such conversations, so just feel free. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, do say that.
And it's